getting any of that money. George,
well, and what does money mean? Because, I mean, yeah.
Not into a system that doesn't work.
I'm not saying that Brom is coming in here and being a knight in shining armor. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying that he's continuation of the same in a negative way. All I'm saying is take a real look at his policy. Look at my policy. See what we stand for. I've been out here fighting on the vanguard for real education for a long time, for parent inclusion. He's for charter schools. Parents aren't involved in charter schools by law.
Parents love charter schools.
No, wait a minute.
They love them, man.
I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. You can't have, by law, you can't have local elected school councils in charter schools. So that disconnects parents and educational community activists. Charter schools is the new theme.
Dan,
so that's why people are getting excited about it.
Yeah,
but charter schools aren't doing anything more than anybody else. Here's what happens. They said, wait a minute, let me tell you.
How can you say that?
I'm going to tell you. They said parochial schools in the bad neighborhoods are doing really well. That's because parents are paying money for those schools. Those children have two parents and they're involved. Whereas in Chicago public schools, you have children with socioeconomic problems that the system is not addressing. So yeah, if we're paying our money, we're gonna pay attention and make sure our children do our homework.
Hey, gentlemen, you know what? I want to take, we still got phone calls coming in and the show's over. Yeah. Lee, drugs and crime. Lee, you got a comment or question for us?
Yeah, I want to ask a comedian a question. If we're talking about fighting crime in our community, the police ain't the issue. The issue is getting people paid for doing jobs, create jobs in our community. Because if a person ain't got nothing to do, they go business, don't do that, trying to feed their family. You know?
Wow.
I ain't everybody talking about putting police on the street. You know, take that money and put it in education in our community.
Hey, Lee, thanks for the call. We appreciate that. Create more jobs.
Lee, you're exactly right. I mean, I have a program to create 100,000 self-perpetuating private sector jobs using our capital improvement program. It's an $8.5 billion spending program that addresses capital projects which develop or maintain assets with a long economic life. There are 4 areas of capital improvement concentration: economic development, education, transportation, and city infrastructure. We typically focus on the city infrastructure. I will focus on economic development and jobs creation. We'll identify 2,000 Chicago area businesses that are industry and geographic diverse and give each of those businesses a $1 million jobs creation grant so that they can create 50 jobs.
I tell you what, Doc, I tell you what, let's just bring casinos to the city of big shoulders. Hey, that's job creation, and you can take all the money from the Indiana casinos. Come on, Doc.
That's not economic development.
So you're anti, it may not be economic development, but it's jobs.
I'm for new money coming in. That doesn't bring new money to Chicago.
Casinos at all in Chicago.
Dan, what do you think, man?
Well, I think gambling expansion is used by a crutch for politicians that don't want to make tough decisions.
That's right.
But if you are going to expand gambling, then Chicago's the obvious place to do it because you compete with Indiana, you get out-of-town dollars.
Absolutely.
But that's not good public policy.
At all.
But if it's going to happen, then
this is a city that could definitely handle it. There's certain cities in this country that should never have even a poker machine in it. Detroit is a wonderful example of that. But this city has the type of shoulders that could handle that and would probably benefit very much from gambling.
The management of that would have to be.
Management of it is something totally different.
The only casino that I would be in support of is one at O'Hare Airport behind the security gate, so only travelers could access
slot machines there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't I wouldn't make it available to the people.
Where does the $200 million you want to give these businesses?
$2 billion.
Okay, well, where's that come from?
We have a capital improvement program, $8.5 billion that was approved by our city council, but it has nothing to do, no, that's not the state's capital improvement program.
City.
That's not the state's capital budget program, different program.
Doc, let me ask you this, because I want to get, Doc, I want to believe in you. I really do. I've known you for quite some time. Yeah. You're a good guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We know the great work you did for the Harold Washington campaign. Yes. Phenomenal work for a phenomenal mayor.
Right.
Doc, you run for every office under the moon,
Not true.
my brother.
Not true.
Why not just focus on a smaller office that you can win?
It doesn't work like that. Those are dead-end jobs. If you run for alderman, we haven't had an alderman become mayor of the city of Chicago in 31 years.
It's about service, though. It's not about political hopscotch.
It's about making a difference in people's lives. I'll give you an example. We both ran for governor of the state of Illinois.
That's right.
Mine was a dry political run because the state of Illinois is only 12% black. You don't run for governor of the state of Illinois thinking that you're a black man who's going to get elected. But had I not been on the stage, it would have been 18 white guys running for governor. No black person has had the courage to step up or the knowledge to step up. So that's important.
But why
so
not-
that our
but-
children see us
So you mean you're
in
the
positive
only
images.
black man that was knowledgeable enough to run for the governor of Illinois?
That had all the ingredients to run. There's only been one other black governor, candidate for governor, Roland Burris, in all the years that this state has been in existence, because we don't step out there and we don't do things that are outside of our comfort level.
This is interesting because why wouldn't a Doc Walls act in the capacity of what Doc Walls did for a Mayor Harold Washington in terms of galvanizing the incredible organizational skills that a Doc Walls have? You have incredible passion. You're eager to win. Why not get behind a candidate? Why not Doc Walls get behind
Give
a
me an
candidate
example of
who,
a candidate
who has
that I can
more
get behind.
profile, who has more money? I mean, when you look at the Rahm Emanuel war chest, what is it, 12, 13 million now that he's
$12
raised?
million.
Come, as hard it could be
see,
with
this is
Doc.
like Jeopardy. In Jeopardy, you can have two candidates, two players, who have a huge fortune over here. Both of them have $20,000
Yeah.
each. You know, $25,000, and then you got the guy sitting over here who has $1,100.
$1,100.
So these guys have to compete against each other, and they have to spend everything they have, and they have to bet against each other to the nth degree. And if they miss the question, they're wrong. Well, this guy, he can just sit pat. He doesn't even have to wager one dime.
So you're gonna
but he
win
just
Final
has to
Jeopardy.
have the right answer. That's right.
But
We're
the
going to win
third,
Final Jeopardy.
well, only the final Jeopardy. How many?
This Chicago mayoral election. This isn't Jeopardy,
I'll
Doc.
tell you one thing that's
Okay.
interesting though about what Doc brings up in terms of what other candidate would I work for if you're telling me to fall in line and help organize for somebody else. I think the black community at the city level, at the statewide level, has a very similar problem to the Republican Party. When does the new generation come forward? I mean, Carol Moseley Braun is the consensus black candidate, really? That's the best that the black community has to offer? I don't think so.
Oh, come on, she was an ambassador,
Yeah,
she was a
right,
senator.
yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
Dan.
right.
Hey, I see your
They sent her out
comment.
to pasture with the sheep in New
You know
Zealand.
what?
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
it's time. As a black man, I'm sick of that. You know, I don't care about that. And you have people talk about, well, I need my next mayor, to help me to become a better black person. I don't need that. I don't need my mayor to help me to become a better black person. That's my responsibility. And I don't need a black candidate. I need a candidate that is qualified.
Yeah.
I need a candidate that's going to help me and my future of my children. And I'm a black man that's proud to be black, but I'm proud to be an American as well.
So-
And at this point in stage in our careers, in our lives, let's pull these color layers off and get down to how do
George,
we
I'm
have a
the
better life.
only
I agree with
candidate.
that.
I'm the only candidate who made it clear that I wouldn't go in the back room and cut a deal to try to become a black consensus candidate that's racially divisive. That I'm the best candidate for mayor of the city of Chicago, and that's the merit that I stand.
So-
on.
I agree with that, but take the racial labels off. We are still, and the Republican Party too does the same thing. So take the racial labels off. We're trotting out the same old, repeating the same pablum.
Absolutely.
And that's what these, largely, that's what these three candidates, the three major candidates, or four major candidates, if you include Duvalier, are doing at the city level.
Nothing
this
new,
is
nothing
This is not earth-shattering stuff
Yeah.
that we're hearing from any candidate.
Meeks and Danny Davis,
Mm-hmm.
were they wrong for going to Operation Push on that not-so-secretive night behind closed doors, cutting the deal with Reverend Jesse Jackson?
Well, that's the deal that they chose to cut. I mean, they had reasons to get out of the race, various reasons to get out of the race. I have every reason in the world to stay in this race. This is an interesting race. Okay, so now that Rahm Emanuel is in, it actually works to my benefit.
In what way?
Why?
don't
Because
think so.
here's why. Because with Rahm Emanuel out, I need at least 32% to get into the runoff, because you've got at least two other major candidates who are going to soak up some of that. With Rahm in the race, if Rahm gets 45%, that leaves 55% now. So now I'm in the runoff with anywhere between 18 and 22% of the vote. So
It's
it
not
makes
gonna
my
be a
job a
runoff,
whole lot
'cause
easier.
he's gonna win about
Rahm is not
55% of the vote.
Rahm is
And
not
if-
gonna-
and if there's a
Rahm is not
runoff-
going to win
and
by
if
a
the-
run
and if
without a
there's-
runoff.
But
Doc,
how
if
do
you're-
you-
your money only goes so
Doc,
far.
How do
Yeah,
you
well,
get?
it
How do
only
you
goes
get
so
from?
far.
I mean, look, I was an insurgent, dark horse candidate too, so I respect and appreciate
Sure.
where you're coming from. But I mean, how do you go from? And let's just assume some of the polling is correct, just for the sake of argument. How do you go from 1% to 18 to 22%?
No, I go from 10% of the vote last time to 18 to 22%
But how you
of the vote.
How do you have-
That's what I got
counting-
last
how you-
time.
But you can't
Yeah, but-
count
but the-
last
Oh, I
time.
can.
Those are
I
Doc
ain't
Walls
lost my
voters?
vote.
Come hell or high water, those are Doc Walls
Doc
voters?
Walls
Doc Walls
no
voters.
matter what.
Okay.
So,
Don't count
so
on
okay,
that.
so let's talk
And
about
we see 'em and
let's
hear
talk
from
about
'em
the
all day
runoff,
long.
Doc, or not?
Yes.
Yeah, let's not even the runoff. Let's talk about getting to the runoff. All right. So Rahm Emanuel gets 45% of the vote. We've got to go to runoff. You're the second. You're the
Easily.
second place
Easily,
winner.
because I don't share a base the same with anybody else. Here, look at it like this.
It's not about.
Let me
you
show
know what?
you.
Let me tell you
Carol
this, though,
Mosley
Doc.
Braun,
It's not
black
about
female.
platform. It's
Carol Mo-
about
Okay,
popularity,
well, let's talk
Doc.
about that as well. Carol Mosley Braun, black female. Patricia Van Pelt Watkins, black
Black
female.
female.
They share a base. Gary Chico, Miguel Devalier, Latino. They share a base. I'm the only black male in the race. And I'm the only person who has real ideas. I'm the thinking person's candidate. Anybody can follow the sheep. I'm the one who, if you really want to know at the end of the day who has real solutions to the problem, like the parking meter fiasco. Everybody else says, sue, sue, sue. That's a waste of time. When you spend $1.15 billion to cut a deal, you make sure you have an ironclad deal. It's a waste of time to litigate it. What I've suggested is, excuse me, that we go in and we renegotiate the deal, bringing something new to the table, negotiate from a position of strength, not a position of weakness. We take our city sticker, and a person can continue to purchase the city sticker for $75 if they want to. That's their option. And they just get to drive in the city of Chicago. But if you pay an additional $75, now you're paying $150 for your sticker. You can park in any one of the 36,000 metered spaces in the city of Chicago, excuse me, for a period of 2 hours. You pay extra, we get extra. They get their money up front. $50 goes to them, $25 goes to us. So now, instead of us only getting $1.15 billion, we end up with $5 billion.
Here's the deal, and I'm going to close on this, gentlemen. And Doc, I really appreciate you coming out. And man, thanks for taking the cough suppressant before we went on the air. During the show, you didn't cough, which was good. But Doc, you said you're the smart candidate in the race. You've got the best solution. But Doc, you must admit that sometimes the best option, the smartest option, the option that makes the most sense doesn't necessarily have the popularity. For instance, there may be a smart television program over here and an intelligent program here.
But Jerry Springer get all the ratings.
Right,
Yeah.
Jerry Springer. Then there's Jersey Shore. So you realize that popularity and that war chest.
Yeah.
No, actually,
and the reason I remember that,
in Illinois, it's inversely proportional. It's in terms of the smartest candidate winning. The smartest candidate never wins.
Well, here, no, that's not true. Harold Washington is an example.
In fact, let me suggest that be the last time that you say that you're the smartest candidate, and then you have a real chance.
Harold Washington proves you wrong. That's exactly what happened in the Harold Washington
Harold
campaign.
Washington was an anomaly. Very intelligent.
You can say that if you want to.
Amazing.
But we're running the
There you
exact
go.
same route.
Yeah,
No,
that was
we're running
30
the
years
exact same. But Harold didn't have the benefits that we have of things like internet.
And
He didn't
Harold
have
had
social
another
media.
thing. Harold had a movement. Harold had something
Harold
that
didn't have a
made-
movement in the
He did
beginning.
have a movement. He had
Harold
a
didn't have a movement
He
in
had
the
a
beginning.
movement. He had
In the very
galvanized-
beginning, the
no,
race
that's
was
not
all
true.
about
I was
Jane
there.
Byrne.
I remember.
I was right there with you.
Well, I mean, I
In the
heard it
very
too. I
beginning,
mean, I was there.
no,
wasn't.
you weren't old enough
I
to
was
vote
there.
yet.
I
George,
wasn't
you weren't
there.
old enough
I
to
gotta
vote yet.
admit.
I said I was there.
You were 15.
I understand.
You were 15.
But this
You weren't
is
old enough to
Chicago.
vote yet.
It's Chicago. I can vote at 15.
So don't lie. Okay, don't lie to me.
Twice.
Don't lie to me. I got
I'm
you.
saying
Integrity matters.
What I'm
So
saying
the bottom
is,
line
I
is,
was
the
there
race-
as
wait,
part
let
of the
him
voting
finish, Doc.
block. My parents, I was out there. I had my button
Yeah,
on.
but
I
you weren't inside. I was inside.
But I was smart enough to
I was
understand.
inside.
3 years later,
I
I,
knew what was
understood
happening.
exactly what was going on.
George,
So you
you're
can't.
seeing this for the first time.
No,
so
no,
here's
no,
the bottom
no,
line.
no. Not at
According
all.
to the media back then, it was a race between Jane Byrne and Richard Daley, and that was it. Harold Washington didn't matter. No way, no how. He couldn't get elected.
But you galvanized
And
them because the others split
we
the
sure
vote.
did. That's
and
exactly
Doc
what
Walls
happened,
and
and the same
Patricia
thing's gonna happen
Van
again.
Pelt Watkins are splitting the
we
vote.
don't share the same vote. We
Lord
do not
have
share
mercy.
the same voting base.
Wow, gentlemen, we're gonna hold it at that.
What
George,
base do they have?
Oh, their base is female. Their base is people who are status quo minded. My base is the community.
okay, the community. We're gonna end on that note. George Willborn, Mr. Dan Proft, Bill, Doc, Walls. Appreciate you, my brother. And hey, one last thing. If you don't win this election, and I hope you do, but if you don't win this election, next time you run, I want you to change your name to Bill Doc Daley. That's all. Off 63rd with Garrard McClendon,
There you
Chicago,
go.
from the
There you
beach
go.
to the burbs. We'll see you next week. Thanks, gentlemen.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good advice.